Call this July 25th Jackson County Commission meeting to order. Have a roll call. District 1.
Present.
District 2.
Present.
District 3.
Present.
District 4.
Present.
And we do have a quorum present, so we can conduct business. We'll have our invitation by Mr. Porter and our pledge from Mr. Dillon.
Lord God, our Father, we're blessed to be here. We're so thankful for this commission, those that have chosen to serve the public. We're thankful for them and for their families. We pray that you'll give them discernment and wisdom to make good decisions that deal with and affect the people of this county. God, we can't help but pray right now for special protection for law enforcement officers. Every day we hear more and more. Today, again, a sheriff in Texas was killed, and we pray for that family, pray for that community, that they can be healed, that they can be comforted by you. God, we pray for peace, and we pray that you will continue to watch over us. Give us peace in this county. We've been lucky, God, and we pray that you'll continue to be with us and guide us and protect us from the kind of violence that has sprung up all over this country and all over the world. God, we're thankful for our blessings. We give you all the glory. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item is the approval of the agenda. I would like to add to the beginning of new business a discussion on the park project again. We have some change orders that are being presented. We can move forward with those tonight if we're prepared. The park project change orders is the first item. And then I'd also like to add at the end of the agenda a letter of resignation from a county employee. Are there any other changes before we proceed? Yes, I'm sorry, yes, and one other item regarding the resolution requiring bid bonds. We can add that after the letter of resignation to be item 14 now, I guess. Resolution for bid bond. So 3 changes to the agenda. Do you have any other changes? We'll call the park project item 1A, and then we'll add items 12 and 13. No other changes? Do we have a motion to proceed with those changes?
Make a motion.
Motion, we have a second.
Second that motion.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Okay. No word presentations, no one appears to speak. We have the minutes from the June 27th, July 12th meetings and work sessions. Do we have, we can approve those together separately? Do we have a motion on that?
Make a motion to approve them together.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Okay, we have no old business, and we'll go into the first item of new business, which is the park project, and we just handed out shortly, just a moment ago, the change proposal for the park project, and we have Ben Collins, which I would like to ask if he kind of go over these items. They're listed here, what we're looking at. I think the first page are all the different items that we had discussed pulling out of this project. And if I'm not mistaken, the very last page in that packet is an item to be increased for changing water lines in that area. So Ben, do you have anything, or what you like to write?
Well, I mean, I guess do we want to go through these one by one, just to verify that they're all indeed on the chopping block?
Well, let's say we've got 5 items. Those 5 items are the 5 to be considered, right?
That's correct. The top 5 here on the front sheet.
Let's ask if there are any questions about any of these first. Do we have any questions about any of these in particular? I know, two things we were looking at was the demolition on the hill as well as the entrance road. Two things that might, I think we're still being debated. Any questions on those items?
Item number 3, Woodward wants to really go potential to run over, correct? The unknown.
Soil conditions, yes.
Any questions or comments? Could you go over the final item, the increase portion of the last page?
Yeah, so, basically, some unforeseen conditions, regarding the plumbing at the cabin site. We, determined that there's a little bit more, plumbing lines in that area than what we had previously understood. And, we're gonna have to essentially go around, kind of reroute the water around that site, and so that we're not constantly running into damaged water lines as we're digging through foundations and cutting the new lines, etc. Is that pretty clear?
My understanding on that also is that would be the cleanest and safest way, and then also we would know where our water lines are from this point forward. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah. So you'll see the previous page from the very last page, second to last page, does outline that we will be putting in some, I guess is it tracer wire? Yeah. So we will be able to find it again in the future.
Oh, okay. So any questions or comments on this? Now, we've talked about a couple of additions later on in this project, and based on the understanding, we can reduce these items and we can still add those additions later as long as it doesn't exceed the original contract price plus 10%, correct?
That's right.
So I guess, so that it's absolutely clear, the total number on the front sheet, you would actually subtract the $7,254.45 from the back sheet from that for a total change order, which we'll have to combine all of these for a total change order of $229,402.55.
That's if we accept all of the items listed here. Questions? If there are parts of this we're ready to move forward with, if we're not prepared to move forward with it, need to look at it further, I would recommend, I think we need to have something done as quickly as possible so we can move forward, correct?
In terms of, I guess the hot ticket items are the plumbing, which is the back sheet, is it the laundry and,
Yeah, probably the laundry building would be the next most important item to know as far as time-wise for us.
How many feet are you rerouting on this addition that you've proposed?
The water.
Yeah,
Can't be no more than probably 20 feet, 25 feet. Because you're going in from that 3-inch line, if I'm not mistaken, in the very back of the new part of the campground, and you're going to tie in over right across the road on the old part of the campground. And what that's going to do, that's just going to backfeed everything back out towards the front. And it's got to be found where it goes across the road there, where we put the cabins in to the other side of the road.
what side of pipe are we talking about?
We got to tap into a 3, and I think he's going to go down, he's going to put a 2-inch cutoff in, that's what I see there. And then we'll go into a 1-inch.
The pipe that'll be, that we're actually putting in though to go around.
2-inch.
Is a 2-inch.
Yeah, it's on the next to last page. The cost breakdown is on the next to last page. 10 items broken down on that page.
So is that 260 foot or 2 inch?
That's what they deducted. Was that's the end, isn't it?
Yeah, that's,
That's the breakdown of that.
Yeah.
260 feet?
Yes.
because they're pulling it from,
If we're just gonna attach to where, back there in the old part, that 3-inch line runs all the way around that new part. If we're gonna connect there, is what I was told, there, and move it over across the road and attach it to that 1-inch line, am I not right? That's what me and Kenny talked about, and if,
you're using the
that's no
existing
200.
3-inch line which runs to at the very, the low end of that property, correct? That we're gonna be using the 3-inch line that's already running on the low end of that property?
Right, up towards the back end of the old part.
He's showing the new 2-inch line running to the existing area that needs to stay in operation.
Right, and that's not, I can't say it's been on 200 and something feet though.
That's what he's got listed now. I can't dispute that. I'm just reading off the paper.
Now, is that 2-inch line also gonna run from the 3-inch down to those other campers, because we were taking those
So
other
we've got to go
campers
from a 3 to a 2 to a 1, I would say, because 1 inch is back there.
off. But I'm talking about closer to the office there. They were talking about connecting that 3-inch. Is that where some of this footage comes from?
This 260 foot is to run down between the cabins to get taps to the cabins, correct? Is that what I'm understanding?
This is rerouting the main.
This is just rerouting the water to get it out of that section where we're gonna build the cabins.
Right now, the way that it's laid out is, with the way the water is, we're not sure where all the lines are, and it's just kind of, all in that area. So what they proposed, and I don't know the exact specs of it, what they proposed is basically to go around the perimeter of that. They've already got a 3-inch line, which is what I understood we tied
It's
that
right back
into.
there at the, it's probably, it's right there at the, when you, at the very back of the old, meets the very front of the new there, and that's where they're tying in, that's what he told me. And he said you had to go from 3 and get a good valve there, we'll have, so we can get it cut off,
So,
down to a 2, and then it'd have to go down to a 1 inch to that home.
yeah, so I guess my understanding from the description at the top, just above the breakdown of costs, he's tapping in where it crosses the road, on the campground road that goes just before you get into the loop to go to the office. And then we're having to cross the cabin site to get to the 2-inch line on the other side that feeds the back campgrounds.
Wow, so, what me and Kenny talked about, not what we're talking about here.
This way, I think I understand what this is saying, what I remember when we were out there.
He said we would go to the back of the new part of the campground, tap on, go across the road, tap onto it, and that would back feed everything in that back.
You talking right up by the road or down by the water?
It just go right across the road right there.
No, but the 3-inch line is down by the water, correct?
3-inch line runs all the way on that new part. I mean, just make a complete circle around that new part.
All right, well, how do we wanna proceed with this?
I mean, it's got to be, it's got to be done.
I make a motion we accept it as written, just need to verify the footage that's installed.
Is that to include the deducts also?
That's right.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? We did want to move forward with deducting the demo work as well.
Yes.
do you feel like we can demo that call up there to save any money at all, or should that be kept in there?
I noticed on the demo part, it had pavement, right? Tearing up pavement. I think that was gonna tear up the pavement. Is that right? That was gonna leave the pavement.
Which pavement?
The demo of it said, it's got one building, and then it's got concrete paving, asphalt paving. It's got a dump address, it don't say nothing about the house or the, don't say anything about the house in the shop
I
area.
think we talked in the shop, or the house, we were gonna try to move ourselves, but
The house and the
We don't say
shops on the
anything.
front page, they've already deducted it.
Okay. All right.
Do you think what I was asking, the 17
Yeah.
that we're trying to accept now, would it behoove us to pay for that and let them,
They gonna dress it up and seed it and everything, right?
That's correct, yeah, that's,
for $17,000?
That's all buildings inside that loop.
Except for
All
the-
associated demo work on the hill, at the parking lot area around the old swimming pool. That does include the house, or it does not?
I don't think,
It just says one building in here in this breakdown.
We're talking about the old bathhouse building.
Yeah.
yeah.
It just says
So you've got the stage, you've got that building,
House.
you've got the house, and you've got the equipment shed. There's 4 structures.
But the house, I thought, pretty well got somebody, I think, owns that house, and they're gonna move it and cook it in hotels.
I think the only concern, the only thing that's left from this would be the equipment shed, which when we talked about that at the beginning of the project, we wanted to make sure we had our new shed up before that was torn down. I think that's why that was left out, and that's an easy structure to tear down.
Well, if we accept these changes as is, and we can go back and add that in.
I would recommend we leave it if we think about changing it, we can always come back and remove it. Yeah.
If we don't
We
tear
can
it
get
all,
that clarified if you wanna drop this one item off for right now. This is,
if they can tear all that down for that price and go back in and dress it up and reseed it, I can see.
Well, I don't think-
Amend your motion to leave that in, just take the 4 out.
landscaping, the reseeding and everything.
Yeah, that's all money, we're not, we can't do that.
If you want to amend your motion.
Well, real quickly, you said the reseeding is not in that, I thought,
If I remember correctly, thought that was something that we had originally decided was gonna be.
I think what you stated, let's,
If
or
we amend the
Mr.
motion.
Kohler mentioned, let's find some more information about it, get some details. That would be the best thing on that item.
Well, I will amend my motion to exclude,
Item 4.
item 4, the deducted demo work on the hill.
Motion.
Okay, any other discussion? We have to vote on the amendment, or since it was the,
Vote on the motion as amended.
right? Okay, any other discussion on these? So what I'd like to ask and clarify in your motion is to accept the deduct for items 1, 2, 3, and 5, and to accept the addition of the water lines. What we would like to see before we proceed with that, though, is get out there with that contractor to basically visualize and show us what exactly that entails. Okay, is that correct? Mr. Levin?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Okay. Item 4 was, and we can review that further. Okay. First item. Next item is motion to sign a resolution for support of law enforcement. You all have a copy of the resolution. It should have all received that last week. Resolution for support of law enforcement in light of a lot of the recent activity brought up by Commissioner. The importance, obviously, that these men and women share in our communities, and not just law enforcement, but our fire departments and emergency management personnel and emergency medical services. So you have this resolution before if you want to proceed with this tonight. Do you have any questions or comments on it? Do we have a motion to approve the resolution of support? We have a motion, do we have a second? And I will, once we get this, if we pass this evening, we'll get this posted and sent out to the various agencies throughout Jackson County. Motion and second, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, say no. Okay, next item is motion to approve the HVAC engineer agreement. This has been discussed a couple work sessions ago. We talked a little bit about it last week. This would be to approve the phase one, which is the study phase, give some recommendations. My understanding of this is they'll review what we have going on here in the courthouse building. They'll get some price estimates on what it will take to modify and do some of the things that we need to do, and then of course from there we'll decide what we can or can't do, and then get the engineering specs drawn up. That'll be the phase two portion, will be the design and actual construction phase of it. Do we have any questions or comments on, any further questions or comments on this? Do I have a motion to approve the agreement?
Make a motion.
Okay, motion, we have a second.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Next item, motion to sign a resolution for elections. This was brought to us by the probate judge last week. We'll go ahead and entertain a motion to approve this resolution.
So moved.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any questions, comments, discussion? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Next item, motion to approve the donation to Weddell and Miller Fund. This is for the Rosalie Community Group. Request is $1,000. Do we have a motion to approve that amount?
I'll make that motion.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, say no. Next item is motion to approve the Public Works employee's resignation and the process forward. We have a letter in our packets, the resignation of the Public Works employee. As discussed last week, the way we'd like to proceed with this would be to open, this is a two position, correct?
Yes, sir.
So this will open a two position. It's likely that that will open up a one position if that position is filled from within, which will give us two open one positions at that point. Is that correct? Or would that be three?
That includes three.
Three now. So what we'd like to do then would be to go ahead and have the interview process available to fill all three of these positions, correct?
Yes, sir, unless we choose to re-advertise for the one.
Okay. Oh, that's what I'm saying, yeah, for all the one positions. So, basically we'll move forward with all of these positions at this time if we're to do that. So, any questions or comments on that? Okay, we have a motion to approve this resignation, move forward with that process for hiring. Motion, is a second.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Next item is motion to accept the county park playground bid process. You have a copy of the bid spec for the actual play structure. You may have, yeah, okay, you have a copy of that. I'd like to ask, we've discussed this at the previous budget meeting. I think it was discussed, or actually it may have been last week with in the work session. And I believe we discussed that we'd like to keep the playground as a part of this project. So with that, we'll entertain a motion to go ahead and put this out for bids. It should be able to put these out in the next week or two, but wanted to go ahead and make sure that we were all on the same page in bidding this process out.
Make a motion.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second.
Second to me.
Okay. Any further discussion on this item? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, say no. Next item, motion to approve the Public Works equipment lease and declaration of surplus. This was presented to us last week at the work session. Is there any other, do you have anything else to add before proceeding?
Nothing other than the email detailing the revision. The final item there is a 320 FL excavator. There was a slight price increase around $7,500 due to the auxiliary hydraulics added to the stick. That was under advisement from the auction companies to enhance the resale value, as well as ability for us to utilize that auxiliary hydraulic to operate a rock hammer or hydraulic thumb or any accessory.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? If we move forward with this, well, we'll handle the process like we do with the other equipment items. Does this have a list of, yeah, surplus? So it'll be declaration of surplus and the authorization to move forward with the replacement of those items. Do we have a motion to proceed as such?
I'll make that motion.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, say no. Next item, distribution of the 2016 business privilege tax. We had received these, we just needed to clarify that for this year they be deposited into the general fund. That had not been done to this point. So we wanted to go ahead and do that. And then of course, depending on what happens with next year, we can plan that in the budget as the time comes. This one was not planned in the budget though, so we do need to make a clarification on that. So do we have a motion to distribute those dollars for the general fund?
Make that motion.
Motion, we have a second.
Second that motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, say no. Okay, next item, motion to adopt the hiring review board's recommendation for the vacant Parks Department full-time and temporary positions. We have a vacancy there. The recommendation from the Parks would be to hire the temporary employee to move to full-time, which would open a vacancy for the part-time, or the temporary, and you have who they'd like to recommend for the temporary position. We have that as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, do we have any questions on this? Okay, we have a motion to approve these items.
Motion.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Do you have anything, Mr. Barnes?
No.
Motion second, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed, say no. Next item, motion to approve the sanitation surplus items. You have a list of the items there presented to us last week. We have a motion to approve these items as surplus.
So moved.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second that motion.
And again, how did we say we would dispose of these items? Normally we use Gov Deals, but what would we?
But so we got, the person who bought the truck was the government entity, so
Okay.
it'd be, he wants us to go with it, so it'd be going to a government entity, so we won't have to surplus. Gov Steel.
Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed, say no. Okay, next item is regarding temporary positions for sanitation department. This was brought to us last week at the work session. Is there any discussion on this item? I think as it was stated, there was a need with the various new activities we've started out there. There's a need for some assistance, and of course we'll look at this further. This would get you along a little bit of the way,
Yes,
correct?
sir.
Questions or comments? Have a motion to approve moving forward with hiring of a temporary person. The actual appointment will be approved by the commission as well. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed, say no. Next item is a letter of resignation. This is a individual from sanitation department. Had several discussions with the individual, and they've chosen to submit their letter of resignation. This will open up a position at sanitation, so if we approve this tonight, then we'll also need to open up that position to move forward with hiring. So do we have a motion to approve this item?
So moved.
Motion, we have a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. And the final item regarding the resolution for the bid process, Mr. Campbell.
This request, I apologize for the lack of notice on this. This honestly came to light today, and due to the approaching deadline to mail bids out, solicitation for bids for materials and services, it's in our best interest to act quickly to this. But in referencing resolution number 28 that was signed in August 11th, 2008, this resolution was a direct effect of the bid law change that went from $7,500 to $15,000 limit. In the language of that, there was a question posed by the then county engineer on what would require a bid bond for competitive bid, what would the monetary threshold be, and what will the bid bond amount be. So, in response to that, the commission in 2008 chose to have a clause in the resolution number 3 that said all public bids shall be accompanied by a bid bond in the amount of 5% of the bid amount, but not to exceed the maximum bid bond amount of $10,000. So pursuant to vendors' requests and inquiries on why we're the only county in which they bid that still requires a bid bond for materials and lower dollar items, we got to started checking into this. I had a conversation with the chairman and with Mr. Porter, and was encouraged to check with other counties first and then speak with Mr. Porter about the implications of not requiring a bid bond for items that were below a larger amount, anticipated bid amount. So it seems to be a fair consensus that for lower dollar items, less than $50,000 anticipated on these bids that we solicit, do not require a bid bond. The pros of that are the individuals bidding, their money is not tied up. The 5% of that bid is not tied up for the year and the county holding the money. The county doesn't have to keep track of those funds and then return them. And then if they can't float the money, then they have to pay the money for a bond. So it's a lot of out-of-pocket expense for folks that I think we would otherwise receive bid from that are discouraged by the bid bond. Now the pros are such, if there is a non-performance or if there is a reluctance or non-ability for a vendor to supply the material, then there's some teeth there to take the second bidder. And as Mr. Porter and I discussed, that bond amount would be able to supplement the difference in price if you had to go with the second bidder. To my knowledge, Mr. Porter can join in.
Are they a number,
We-
Mr. Campbell, like, I mean, where the bid bond, somebody talk to other counties, are they a number that, a magic number that, say anything over 50,000, they do the bid bond, or 100,000, I mean, what's the magic number?
Typically over 50,000,
That's what I thought. So, but we're doing it on everything.
everything. Pipe,
Yeah, I think that's what
Rock.
we're making.
yeah, it's,
Based on what's been looked at, I think to go forward and make as simple a change as possible would be to change one word that says shall to may, correct?
number 3, resolution number 28, line item number 3, if it read all public bids may be accompanied instead of shall be accompanied, we can make those changes as you discussed.
There's no reason for a bid bond anyway. As long as you keep a performance and payment bond once the contract started, correct, Mr. Porter? That's the only thing that's got teeth anyway, is a performance and payment bond.
What we
I
had
don't know why
traditionally
you gotta
been
do a bond
getting
anyway.
was a bond, and keeping that bid bond until we had the bid, or then we returned everybody else's bond, we kept the high bidder's bond. And it was just there. The only bond that I ever recall having to call was a performance bond on a road.
That's after a contract you already issued.
Right.
And That's the only things that really matter. Bid bonds are irrelevant.
We may look at removing that, but in order to get it done tonight with minimal question is what's being done, I think what we recommend is change that word from shall to may. And if we want to look at removing that requirement altogether, we can leave it in there as may if we ever feel there's a need to. Or we can look at removing that requirement altogether in the future if we want to.
And if you want to do that, because it was done by resolution, technically you need to move to set the rules aside, because resolutions and policies are not to be amended at the same meeting that's introduced. Set the rules aside, and you can change it however you want to, and then you're good to go.
Any questions or comments on that? Any problem with making that wording change? Do we want to make a motion to set the rules aside to make that happen?
Make that motion.
A motion to set the rules aside so that we can proceed. Do we have a second? A motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. So the rules are set aside, so now we can proceed with the motion to amend that. And again, that amendment will just change that word from shall to may for the time being. Do we have a motion to proceed with that?
Second.
Motion, we have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on that? Any further discussion, questions, comments? That'll apply to all of these items, but I don't understand fully on some of those things, so maybe we'll look at that with some of these other bids we've got coming up, whether that's necessary to do a bid bond or not. Motion second, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Okay? Thank you. That concludes the items on our agenda, so we'll move on to our reports. Mr. Campbell, do you have anything?
I'd ask that your thoughts and prayers be with the Garner family as we learned of his passing that occurred Saturday. Mr. Garner, Mr. Iris E. Garner, everybody called him Junior. He served for the county from 90 to 94, 2 temporary terms, and then he was currently serving as an H&T 1. Suffered a heart attack Saturday, so please keep them in your thoughts and prayers as well as his public works family.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Barnes? Mr. Robinson?
No, sir.
Sheriff?
The check come this resolution?
What's that?
The check come this resolution?
Which one?
Is it not stapled to it?
No. He missed that, didn't he? Fell off somewhere.
Yeah, we'll see if we can find it. Anything else? Mr. Venable?
No,
Mr. Miller?
no, sir.
Mr. Duffy?
No, sir.
Mr. Levin?
No, sir.
I just want to say, we've lost a few employees this past year, they passed away. And a comment was made to me today, which made me think a lot about. The question was asked, do these folks know that we appreciate them? And the gentleman that we lost, obviously, at Public Works was very intense, very hard worker, as are a lot of our folks with the county. And I think it's important that we just say publicly how much we appreciate what the employees for this county do on a daily basis. Again, given the circumstances, and we've got a lot of very, very hard-working folks that work for us in this county. And it's a very sad day whenever we lose one of them in a situation like we've lost one this weekend. And as stated, our prayers go to these families. And of course, these men and women are parts of our family as well. So pray for our employees as well as they deal with the loss of friendship and family themselves. That concludes the items on our agenda, so we entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Motion, go to second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, say no.